Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Today, inshallah, we have the topics, the lessons of the second remote or distant learning. And I would like to express my feeling about the work of last week, my feedback about your interaction and your work and the quizzes you have tried is very, very positive. I'm so pleased with every one of you, and I hope all of you to keep working hard. Today, inshallah, we have a new topic under the title Intellectual Tolerance for Grade 9. But before we get started, I would like to define what does it mean intellectual tolerance. Huh. And one of you could answer? Good. The word tolerance means to pair. As a concept, it means respect, it means acceptance and appreciation of the diversity of the world's culture, forms of expression, and ways of being human. In short, tolerance in Arabic means tasamuh. Tolerance is a basic principle of Islam. It is a religious moral duty. Tolerance does not mean concession or indulgence. Tolerance does not mean lack of principles or lack of seriousness. Tolerance, according to Islam, does not mean that we believe that all religions are the same. It does not mean that we do not believe in the supremacy of Islam over others' faith. It does not mean as well that we do not convey the message of Islam to others and don't wish them to become Muslims. We should understand this and underline it. What the Quran and the Sunnah say about tolerance. If we look at the Quran, we'll find Islam emphasizes the establishment of equality and justice. Both of these values cannot be established without some degree of tolerance. Islam recognized from the very beginning the principles of freedom of belief or freedom of religion. It said very clearly that it is not allowed to anyone to have any like we can say to force anyone in the matters of faith and belief. The Quran says clearly in Surah Al-Baqarah, there is no compulsion in religion. لا إكراه في الدين. We are not allowed at all to force anyone to become Muslim, to accept our message. In the matters of religion, in Surah Ash-Shura, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if then they turn away, means, O Muhammad, if they don't accept your message, we have not sent you as a guard over them. Your duty is just to convey the message, not to force them to believe, just to convey the message. In another place in Surah An-Nahl, chapter number 16, ayah number 125, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked the Prophet Muhammad to invite all people to the way of your Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and argue with them in ways that are best and the most gracious. Your Lord knows best. You have who have strayed from his path and who received guidance. And the Prophet Muhammad SAW, one day when he was asked about the Iman, what is Iman? The Prophet ﷺ replied, Iman is patience and tolerance. Recognition of Islam. Tolerance comes from our recognition of dignity of human being, basic equality of all human beings, universal human rights, and fundamental freedom of thought, conscience, and belief. We have some aspects of tolerance. Tolerance between family members, tolerance between the members of community, and tolerance between Muslims and the people of other faiths. This is the intellectual tolerance we are talking about today. interfaith relation, dialogue, and cooperation between different faiths, different religions. In short, Muslims have been generally very tolerant people. We must emphasize this virtual among us and the world today. With non-Muslim, we should have dialogue and good relation, but we cannot accept things that are contrary to our religion. We should inform them what is acceptable to us and what is not. We have two misconceptions here. The first one is, I'm sorry, it's not like misconception, but it's like some example of the Muslims' tolerance. The first example of the Muslim tolerance in the Islamic history, when the Prophet ﷺ decided personally to visit the village of Ta'if to the east of Mecca. What happened? We should understand what is the tolerance in this situation or incident. When the Prophet ﷺ went to call to preach people to accept Islam, the village of Ta'if, the people there rejected the Prophet, stoned him, ejected him, made him to plead. After they ejected him, Jibril alayhi salam, the angel Jibril came to the Prophet and asked him, Allah has heard what your people say to you and how they reject you. He has ordered the angels of the mountains to obey whatever you tell them. The angel of the mountains came and called the Prophet, greeted him, and said, send me to do what you wish. If you wish, I will crush them between the two mountains, I will do. The Prophet, in a tolerant way, says, rather, I hope that Allah will bring forth from them or for their lines those who will worship Allah alone and do not associate anything with Him. So the Prophet refused the idea of punishing them and he tolerated them. The second one, the second incident of tolerance here, when a Bedouin once entered the mosque of the Prophet and started to urinate in it. The Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet, tried to run to prevent and restrain him. The Prophet ﷺ, in a tolerant way, said, do not interrupt his urination. Let him finish. Then the Prophet asked for like a container of water to be poured over the place of urine. The third incident in the Islamic history here, one of the Prophet's neighbors, who was Jew, who hated the Prophet. Each day he would throw trash on his way. The Prophet never rebuked him. One day the Jew did not show up. The Prophet asked about him and was told that he was sick. So the Prophet went to visit him and inquire about his health with kindness. Upon seeing this, the Jew embraced Islam. When he saw the Prophet was a very good example of tolerance. Last example here in Egypt. After the Prophet's death, we can see here in Egypt and the Copts is the name of the Christian there, were on the terms of closest friendship with the Muslim in the first century of the Muslim conquest. And they are on terms at closest friendship with the Muslims at the present day. In Syria, the various Christian communities lived on terms of close friendship with the Muslim in the first centuries of the Muslim conquest as well. They are on terms of close friendship with the Muslim at the present day. So here we could prove that Islam, according or throughout the history, we prove that Islam gives a very good examples of tolerance towards other faiths. Thank you so much. May Allah be pleased with you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.